Hey there, American Horror Story fans. We have been talking for years about the epic crossover that was inevitably coming between Murder House and Coven, and tonight we got it. So stay tuned, because we're talking about American Horror Story Apocalypse, Season 8, Episode 6, Return to Murder House.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AfterBuzz TV American Horror Story After Show. We're talking about American Horror Story Apocalypse, Season 8, Episode 6, Return to Murder House.
Welcome home, witches.
Yeah, welcome home, witches. I'm your host, Alana Jordan, and joining me today.
Hey guys, I'm Jennifer Leone.
Yes, what's up, everyone? I'm Kayla Rene'e.
Okay, so I have to ask, what did you guys think about this episode?
Hands down, best episode ever. Sorry to cut you off, Jen.
That's okay. There you go.
Best episode ever. I was waiting for episode 6, and I'm just so glad. There's extra 18 minutes for everything, too, so super excited.
Episode 666.
Yeah. I loved it. I felt that this episode was just everything that we've been asking for, and
Yes.
all the loose ends that we wanted to tie were tied. Ryan Murphy gave it all to us. So happy. I'm so
Thanks,
happy. Yeah, but episode 4 is still my favorite.
I feel like I think that's going to be the consensus, because that one was the one that was rated like the top episode of the entire series.
Yeah.
This one, though, I gotta say,
It's so
probably
good.
a
I was
close
about to say,
second.
this one was
Close
really good.
If both of your favorite episodes of the entire series are in the same season, that's a good season. So I'm
Yes.
very excited
Yes.
about everything this season. I can't believe there's only 4 episodes left.
I just want to cry. Don't remind us, Elena. I just want to
So
cry.
sad.
Light my soul on fire, Michael Langdon style. I can't. So this episode, I love, again, as we've been seeing all season long, post-flashback episodes, everything's been kind of chronological. We had the first couple episodes that let us see the apocalypse, the sad
I know.
after effects of poor Billy. But then we have this whole flashback series. We're still in the middle of the flashback. And we finally have, as teased last episode, dun, 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 Behold and Madison are back at Murder House.
Where it all began.
Where it all began. And I loved too the opening scene. This is what is so perfect about this episode, I think, is shout out to director Sarah Paulson.
Yes.
Perfectly directed, the comedy and the horror that is just seamlessly integrated in this, having the opening where he's like, so there have been murders in this house. Oh, we know about all 36 of them. We're not liable for any damages,
Anything.
including fatalities, but other than that, enjoy your new home.
Here's the keys.
Oh, look at that. Soundboard. Into it.
That was kind of like equivalent to a boo, low-key.
Yeah,
like,
a little
oh,
bit,
wait.
a little bit. But yeah, and I love that Behold is just like, we'll light some sage. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's
Yeah, we're
fine.
good. And he did bring the sage.
I know, right? You have to have your
did.
smudge
So-
sticks as part of it. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. I didn't have like an epic marble knife that came with my sage sticks, but okay.
He had the whole
everything.
kit.
It was an altar. It was a to-go altar. I noticed.
Go all out with your altar.
Yeah. Wait, that's one for Elena.
I felt very Buffy the Vampire Slayer to me, too. I was like super into it.
I was so into it. And this episode, by the way, everyone looked great. Madison's outfit.
I know. I was like, I'm here. I'm living for Madison's outfit. And I'm
so
like,
good. Like,
I know.
girl.
classy,
I'm like,
like,
I
real-
just want like an American Horror Story fashion show where it's like
Right?
Coco and Madison and just literally all of the male witches.
Everyone.
Like every single one of you have the coolest outfits
they're like
I've
well
ever
dressed.
seen.
I just want to see like their costume closet, like their costume like area where all the like American Horror Story costumes are. Like,
Can you do
wow.
that?
Can I go shopping?
Yeah.
I want to go to there. I would never. Yeah, you would never see me again. I would be
I
living
wouldn't
there
either.
forever. I would just be like capes
everywhere.
Living in Lady Gaga's closet.
Yes, which I imagine is probably a very well-organized closet.
I know.
Much like AfterBuzz has a very well-organized system
Yes,
for
don't we,
finding all of
Elena?
our shows.
Let's let everyone know. AfterBuzzers, our network, produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, our sci-fi channel, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve our television fans, but you guys, we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, do not be, you guys, because they're optional.
Turn them off.
So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out all of our AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments right now, because our comments are on fire. And we'll thank you guys on air. But for now, thank you guys for being the best fans and helping us be the ESPN of TV Talk.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
And thank you, too, for commenting and sending all of this awesome stuff. At the end of tonight's episode, we'll also, of course, as usual, do our predictions and let you guys know a little news and gossip. We may even have an exclusive just for you guys. But then we're also going to talk about some of your fan theories, too. So please continue to send us those, because we love talking about them.
Let's not forget our iTunes listeners. If you guys are listening to us on iTunes, go ahead and give us that 5-star rating.
Yeah, and Spotify and SoundCloud. Give us a thumbs up and comments. Talk to us.
We're all over the place.
Yeah.
And we love hearing from you, no matter where you talk to us.
Yes.
But unfortunately for our witches, they're having some trouble talking to all of these spirits, because so far we find out that the magic doesn't work in this house. Behold's trying to open the door. He's like, okay, this is an obstinate house, which I'm also like, thank you for dropping these SAT vocab words left and right throughout. I'm like, we get it, writers. Y'all are smart. We already knew.
I'm here Googling.
And I got it.
I was like, obstinate. Yeah, I was like, I had to think about it.
Well, we need an American Horror Story, like, word of the day calendar.
dictionary.
We're like, okay. The dictionary. That works, too. So he's saying that this is like the strongest psychic presence that he's ever felt.
Right.
This intense psychic energy. And Madison's basically like, look, here's my deal, is I need to make the most out of this life. I was given a second chance. I was kind of a dick even after my second chance. This is my third life. Third life's a charm. Try not to be Madison, the big old a-hole who killed someone with a light just for funsies because she was mad that she didn't hit her spot. Like, it's like, okay. That Madison needs to go. These spirits don't want to be seen, so they have to do this spell that I also think it's pretty interesting. She's never seen before. Then it's like, okay, so these male witches do have some spells that maybe the ladies may or may not have picked up on, but this monstra de spiritum de abscandas.
Be careful what you say.
I know. I'm like, Lex, gonna start flickering. I'm like, oh my God.
That would have been the perfect time to start flipping these lights and freak us out.
Next time.
It's all right. Next time I get all witchy in here.
I'm going to cast a spell on
wait,
us.
we got to talk about your dress real quick.
Oh,
Ouija board, yes or no?
Elena is always giving us like full fashion. Like, remember the purple dress? It was like, you always give us full fashion.
Yeah.
We love you, Elena.
Full witchy fashion.
For anybody who's not watching on YouTube, watch us on YouTube and you can know what the hell we're talking about, because I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah. It's better to
Her
watch
dress is
anyway.
amazing. Yeah.
Like, you guys always look amazing. Oh, everybody's looking amazing. I love it. I love
In
it.
this episode, on the show.
Unfortunately, the will burn children of Constance's former husband still not looking all that great, freaking out Madison.
What happened in this
The
house?
heads are on fire. I'm like, oh, poor kids.
I know. And all I was thinking was like, oh, where's the dummy who was banging Constance that made the kids all happy with the tea party? Like,
That's true.
Bring back beefcake. I need to watch him walk by. I'm fine with it.
Bring back beefcake.
Like, Madison would feel a little better if she's like, well, at least they're hanging out with a hot dude that also clearly was murdered here.
Yeah.
I also feel like I need a ledger of all 36. Like, can somebody just send me a list of all
like,
the
who all
36
died?
spirits that are all there, because I need to keep a total.
Maybe Michael killed a lot that we just don't know.
Maybe. I mean,
Clearly. I'm like, clearly he was just offing everybody. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, whew. And then, of course, Mr. Montgomery, way back in the day, Lord knows how many he had took out.
Yeah,
but
good point. And they don't even know that.
They don't even know.
Yeah.
We saw how many bones were out there. It's insane.
it's like, I think we only know of like a good 10 that died in the house. Like, it's like whatever happened to the other 26?
They're like, we didn't have that much time. All right, guys, it's a lot. Take the murder house tour.
We gave you Constance's other child. What else do you have?
So
You're asking for too much.
We find out that all these years later, Tate, who, by the way, Murder House was like 10 years ago. This was so long ago.
Wow.
How does freaking Tate look? I mean, he looks exactly the same.
They
I'm
like
like,
don't age,
Evan
yeah.
Peters. I'm like, Evan Peters. Jeez.
He just doesn't. He looks 17.
The true witch. I'm like, ugh, get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, right?
He's a little cutie too, though.
He is. Adorbs. Which also, young Michael. Super evil, super cute.
I'm like super hot, but
there's an Instagram called I'd Fuck the Antichrist.
Oh my God.
I think it's hilarious, but it's all the greatest photos of Cody Fern, and everyone's into him. It's all over online. I love it.
I think
though.
I'd be into it too. You know, like on a
Everyone likes a little
outside of here, I wouldn't be into it, but I think for the moment, I think I'd be into it.
bit. Just for like a Halloween moment.
I love, speaking of hotties, that Tate flat out, like in his psych sessions, is like talking about Violet. And he's like, Violet's still ignoring me, but like, I'm dead and I'm hot and I know she's still into me. And I'm like, all right, Tate, legit, very self-aware.
Yeah, very.
He's not wrong.
Madison, though,
He's
I
not
love
wrong.
when Madison pops in and she's like, you're not that hot. And I'm like, y'all are dating in real life.
I know, like, how corny.
We know.
Okay.
I thought that about the ending scene too, like seeing
know,
like
a
him
lot
and
of them,
Zoe in
I'm
the
like-
window. I was like, ooh, are you just looking like that's my man, girl? Like, get off my man.
I feel
But
like,
it's
every season Ryan Murphy's like, look how cute, like Tessa and Evan are together.
Yeah.
Stand over here, actual girlfriend. Just looks
Be on the
sad and
sidelines,
longing
yeah.
from far away. I was like, okay, crew clearly has some feelings about this relationship.
funny.
Anyway, so Behold is introducing himself to Ben, and he's like, yeah, you know, you guys, we can see you can see us. We did this whole spell. You guys need to tell us about Michael. We need some info. And of course, Ben is like, what are you going to do? Like, make us more dead? Get out of here, dummy. Like, what? And then Tate is just like, hey, you guys aren't safe here just because you're witches, so chill
I'm
out.
out of here, yeah.
Deuces.
Yeah.
And of course, they're like, well, that went well.
Yeah.
So they end up coming up with what I think is the best nickname ever.
Is this the
We all know
tearjerker?
the tearjerker!
I was here for that. He was like, yeah, I'm just going to go masturbate and cry in my corner like I normally do. Or look outside the window like I normally do.
That was the
love that that's like the callback to episode 1 where it's like for all of eternity he just has to jerk it and cry outside of a window.
It's what it was known for.
But it's like all of the other ghosts are like, can you just have a different thing?
Yeah,
like,
like-
God, this is so weird. Like my little burnt up kids are here.
He's just like a horn
come
dog.
on.
Like, he's just a little horn dog. Like, all right, Ben, like, get it together.
Lusty.
And then Bo, sweet little Bo, attacks.
Yeah.
Not really, just attacking with love. Kind of
like
like
a
a
puppy.
puppy. Yeah,
Like, I was like a puppy, like a dog.
And is stopped by Billy Dean. Behold is stopped by Billy Dean as he's about to banish this poor sweet little thing. And I was like,
Great surprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes to Billy Dean being back.
It's like, welcome back, Sarah, as another character.
No, I'm like Sarah directing from within the episode,
Yes.
loving it.
Yeah.
Like,
I forget
super
about that woman.
girl boss. Like,
She's amazing.
And it was so well done. Just
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just really, really well done. I'm like, go Sarah. Like, it's not even just like, oh, Sarah's doing it. It's like, no.
She's killing it.
Wow.
Like-
Like, no, you're good. Who did this? Oh, Sarah did. Done. It's
And a
beautiful.
testament to like her acting too, because you're like, oh, well, maybe she just had a good director. Oh, both are right.
Both are right. Can you just mention what you mentioned to me earlier about Blum? And,
We'll talk about that.
Okay,
at the end.
all
That's,
right,
that's
we'll
part
talk
of news
about
and
the end.
gossip. We'll talk about that.
News and gossip, different
But as
section.
far- yeah, we're gonna stay in the episode for right now. Yeah, so I love the little reference too about Madison Montgomery when
Yes.
Billy's like, I've
Yeah.
known a few Montgomerys.
always. It's
This is
always
the
somebody
first
knowing a
witch.
few
And I was
Montgomerys.
like, okay, we get it. Little Lily Rabe reference, like Mrs. Montgomery. And I love that too because they can't put all of them into this episode. It would go on forever. So it's like, okay, at least you mentioned the other Montgomerys. I thought it was going to be kind of cool to have like a great grandma,
Something
Yeah.
tying,
granddaughter
yeah.
like reunion.
Yeah.
But
I think they'll do
I
that
can see
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
I could see that be kind of weird if it's like, hey, I'm here to talk about Michael. How have you been? I'm your great. And it's like, oh my God,
a
really?
lot.
I've got a mission here, Grandma. Like, just go decide if you want a baby
She's gonna
or
be
not.
like,
I don't
who
know.
brought the old lady in here?
But the epic return. Jessica Lange.
So good. Chills.
She's just like auntie, like from another dimension. I just love her.
The perfect mother, and life and death. The Constance.
Take care of all the monsters.
Now, I gotta ask you guys though, when you saw Constance walking down, did you think alive or dead?
Alive.
I knew dead. I just thought dead.
Did you think Michael killed her?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I did too. I
Definitely.
thought 100% that would be the situation, that Michael must have killed her.
Definitely.
And I thought the same thing about Mead, but now I'm starting to think that maybe that's going to be something different. I don't know.
Because I'm still, because like the whole, well, I guess we'll talk about it when we get I'll say my point when we get to that whole, whole little.
Yeah. Predictions.
I'm going ahead a little bit. Sorry, guys.
She is so glamorous though, and it's one of my favorite characters, if not the favorite character.
Oh, I love her.
Constance.
Yeah. Constance. She is American Horror Story. Look.
Yeah.
Jessica Lange's delivery is just so perfect.
Isn't it?
Too. Just
Always.
everything that she says. Who are you? I'm Constance Langdon.
This is my house.
My house. Oh, love her. And then the Crown Royal, when she's like, old habits die hard. And I'm like, okay, I get it, because you died.
She's like, oh yeah, you're not going to go get my Crown Royal and pack of Slims, are you?
I love it. And of course, Moira. They have their little
Moira.
taunt. This I did think was pretty interesting though, because I feel like Ryan Murphy will do this where he puts little references in and little digs. He did this a lot in Feud too, where he talks about kind of the oppressiveness of the world on women and how that then reflects how they interact with the exterior. But the line that disappointment makes a woman bitter. And with how many times you've taken the coward's way out, I can see why.
That's true.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I just love that he keeps hearkening back to these deep-rooted themes.
Yeah.
And we've seen it too so many times with Jessica Langdon, Jesus. Michael Langdon is like, get in my head.
She could be Jessica Langdon. Look.
I know, now I'm like, is that why it's Langdon? Like, maybe not.
They like tie in her last name. Like
Part of her.
Yeah.
She'll always be American Horror Story.
It's when Jessica Lange was done, they were like, bring in Michael Langdon, because Lange's done. I just figured it out.
Wait, there's
but
another one too.
I just figured
Twice. Wow.
that's not a real thing. I just made that up.
Yeah, but that was so good. That was so good.
Pretend like that was the reason. Because we named him. It was like her last season. It's like, okay.
That's true.
It wasn't even her last one. She went years after that, like Freak Show and all this. It's like, that doesn't even count. Anyway, but she's talking about how she knows more about him than anybody else. And she'll tell them, but she wants them to get rid of Moira. She's sick of this chatty, not very good maid. And I understand if it's like you have one mortal enemy and then you have to spend your entire afterlife with her. It's like, yeah, that's not great.
Yeah.
Ben should have did that with his ex.
I was gonna say, speaking of Ben, it's actually kind of funny because you know how in the first one, like Ben's seen Moira as like that hot maid, like his like vision type of thing. It's funny how like now that he's dead, he doesn't see her like that anymore. Like she was just like, you know, like old Moira at that.
Well, it's because I think that was the whole thing about men and like how they're blind to reality because of their urges, and now his only urge is to jerk it and cry in front of a window because he's dead. So it's like, oh,
he's like doesn't have that anymore.
I know, right? So basically she wants Moira gone, and this is what I thought was super interesting was that Behold was like, look, I can do a spell where I can just banish this bitch to a closet. We don't have to go through all this. This will be super easy. But Madison, as we're seeing, she's not just saying she's going to turn over a new leaf. She's actually trying. She's going through, she's touching all of these bones for all of these, who knows how many people, dozens of people buried underneath this.
The 35 other people.
I know, this poor gazebo that it's like, okay, we picked one mass grave for everybody under the gazebo. Jeez, like space them out. There's a lot of space here, guys. But meanwhile, there's like the poor exterminator still underneath the house somewhere. I'm like, did anybody ever find him? No.
No, yeah, he's just vanished.
Nobody.
Nobody cares. Like,
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. No.
Like that was such a throwaway death. Like most people were like, oh, I forgot about him.
There's only so many bullet points they can cover.
Yeah.
So then they end up going through all of this just so they can find Moira's bones. They give them back to her, and she's just sobbing. She's so delighted that this is her means of escape. And banishing her to a closet is a horrible thing. That's like, that would be awful that she would spend her eternity.
Like.
Yeah, and instead, like, they ask her, where do you want to be buried? She's buried next to her mother. And this is when I just, well, one, I loved that she said that she would haunt the hell out of Paramount Stage 7.
So cute.
I was like, into it.
Yeah.
And again, where it's like, disappointment makes a woman bitter, where it's like, this was her first nude scene that she begged for a body double, but she was put in this situation. And it's, again, these situations that women are put in that Ryan Murphy and his team just get. And so, many reasons we say thank you.
Moira with her mom was such a little touching scene, though. I was like, oh, Moira and her mom. She's like, I forgive you. I just want to smother you in kisses. And I was just like, oh.
No, this is true. Just the lighting on this, where when they're walking down that path.
Oh, my God.
You felt the Hollywood Forever.
It was like chills.
When you look at the lighting, it's light on one side and dark on the other. And then it's the afterlife that's in the middle that they're going through to bring them over to the other side. The way that was set up, damn, that was good. I
really
was like,
good.
Sarah Paulson.
I was here for it, yeah. That was like, as creepy as it is, that was like really a beautiful shot. Like,
It's gorgeous.
I want that as a
smoke,
poster.
like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I was like, with the just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
I just love dark and Halloween-y type of things. Like,
Artistic
Especially
guy.
too, because the theme of this episode was so much the light and the dark, and about like the kinds of light and the kind of darkness, and his light isn't the true light, because they kept referencing, like, they said that he was kind of the light that was brought in here. Michael was my light. Constance says he was the one light that I had.
Definitely.
Of all of the men that, all of the things that, you know, I spent my whole life tending to all of these people. He is the light. He is the light.
Well, really quick, they were saying angel of light, and angel of light is Lucifer.
Right.
Yeah.
The bringer of light. So it's just really cool how they tied that in. Yeah, so light.
And then, oh my gosh, the rose garden.
oh.
Of his little gifts.
I was like, if Constance plants one more rose,
that was so creepy.
wasn't
too.
it? And
Just
I'm like, the rabbit's
planting-
just hanging, and she's just like, oh, another dead animal.
Red
and
roses.
starting with like ripping the wings off of flies in his crib. It's like
how
how
creepy.
something like
How
super
evil.
super ingrained in him. And then, of course, we see the babysitter that we saw in Murder House that was killed, and how she covered it up, that she told the police that
She offed herself.
she just offed herself, which horrible.
Yeah.
But, you know, I love just the whole theory of her from death springs life eternal. So I'm going to plant these roses in honor of all of these creatures and people.
My first thing is like, who is not watching Michael to the point where he's just outside killing rabbits and mice and flies and like he
Cats, hanging cats in the kitchen.
Like,
I mean,
how
he
did you even have time to hang that? Like nobody's watching him. No babysitter.
Like, he's
no.
a little boy. How'd he get up there? Like, I'm like, where are your ladders? Like, I mean, it's one thing to like kill something, but I'm like, oh, like my cat doesn't
Crawling,
like then string it up from the ceiling. Like, that's the creepy part. I'm like,
Spider-Man style.
Even all the spirits in the house, like, hey, nobody just decided to keep an eye on him just to kind of see, like, hey, let me go pop. Even his
The
mom,
spirits
like,
are just
hey,
as
mom
evil,
and
though.
Tate, like, they're not just gonna, hey, let's go see what Michael's up to today.
well, it was a different house. Because they lived
you're
next
right.
door.
Okay,
so
yeah.
she went over next door to the murder house to kill herself. But they actually lived next door.
Right, yeah.
Which this was the only thing, and I know this is kind of a tangent, but this bothered me in Murder House too, and they were like, why don't you just buy the house? And she's like, oh, well, not all of us were blessed with your financial...
That's true.
The whole thing is that they're like, this house is cheap as hell because nobody wants to live in it. And I was like, if you can afford the nice house next door, why can't you afford the cheap as shit house? No,
Yeah.
I've never understood that. That's the only thing that I was like, I don't get this discrepancy.
I never explained it.
Like, she should have lived there because it would have made more sense. She's stoked on all of those spirits. She would have been all about it.
All
So,
the kids are there.
none of that made sense to me. But whatever. They fixed it this episode.
I was about to say they brought her back home.
They basically were like, anything you've ever had a problem with, we're retconning. We're fixing this season. Don't even worry about it. But yeah, Constance has her purpose, which she feels she's been put on this earth to raise the monsters. I do also love I don't know if it was intentional pun. I feel like it had to be the garden variety serial killer, where I'm like, you literally have a garden of all of his serial killings.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm into that. I was like, I see you writers, I'm into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he almost kills Constance, and we see this moment where it's like he is possessed. He has these forces in him.
Yeah. He's half and half.
He is, and he's being kind of taken over by this demonic force that is making him choke Constance until they have this weird grammar.
Something comes over
Can I
him,
have a glass of water? May I? Just super creepy.
Yeah.
But this was so sad when she's talking about how she felt that her purpose, her mission was to raise this great man, and that the best aspiration that a woman can have is to basically dedicate her life to the bettering of a man. And then seeing that when that man ultimately lets her down, that was such a disappointment for her. I feel like that was such an awesome commentary too, where it's like, if you live for a man, you're never going to find your true sense of purpose.
Right.
It's not until you're living and dying for yourself, as Constance does, that she truly feels that, you know, she has her real purpose, which is to be with her children, which we were getting into on this. Who the hell is that little girl?
All right.
Does anybody know? Like, all of our viewers?
So he was supposed to be apparently a albino boy in the things that they cut out. So the episodes, what is that, like deleted scenes? So they had deleted scenes. This is something that someone told me after my fan theory show that I had no idea, because I was always wondering, where's the fourth kid?
Yeah.
That's always been my question. They've always covered everything. Now they changed it to a girl who's blind,
Whose eyes have been plucked out.
So maybe Cordelia style. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was like, huh.
Like, where'd she come from?
Yeah.
Because it was weird, because it was like, even when she woke up, it was like, you had Tate and Bo, like, right there in plain sight, and then it was like her and, like, not focused. You know
I was
what I mean?
so excited.
I know. I was like,
so
Well,
excited.
they
I'm just
basically
like,
were like,
who-
yeah, we're tying in everybody, even the bitches
Yeah.
from the deleted scene. So
Yeah.
what up, mega fans?
Can someone send that to us? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
You
send us that
find us-
deleted scene, because we want to play it next episode.
Yeah, I just heard about it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, me neither.
So I'm down.
I'm interested. I'm interested to see. I know that it's going to
Right.
circle back, because they wouldn't
Definitely.
just set that up and then be like,
Or maybe they would.
maybe they would.
Ryan would do
I'm
that to
like,
us.
Season 9.
I'm sitting here going back to Asylum, and I'm like, no, you guys have done that to us before.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, poor Mr. Tearjerker has his own problems.
Sorry, that's great.
I'm like, we
Because
do have a
looking
little
out that
theory.
window is a bit of a pain, am I right?
But I'm
I'm like, we do have a
Window
little
pane
theory going on.
What's going on?
Calvin actually said Constance's daughter is probably named Rose, the fourth child. She's probably got her eyes taken out by Infantata due to Infantata attacking Violet's, the bully, in the first episode.
Maybe.
Wait, Violet's bully. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Maybe,
Go
maybe.
Calvin.
Shout out to
yeah.
Shout out to Calvin Aragon.
So right now they're basically saying, look, we just gave Constance something for some info. We can trade
What's
some
next?
info
Yeah.
for you. What up, Dilf? You look real unhappy.
That was great.
Tear jerking in the window.
I just
she
love
wants
how
to fix it. I love
Madison just
everything.
comes in like super petty every time.
God, I love it. I love it so much.
Like, even with Tate, it's like, you're not that hot, but anyway. And then it's like,
know.
hey, what's up, Dilf? Like,
Everybody else
Everyone.
is hot and sweaty, and she's just hot and petty. I'm into it.
And another Elena.
So they're saying, no, we can fix this for you. You don't have to be the tearjerker of the house. And he's like, I'm fine with jerking it if you could just make the crying part go away. I'm like, how about you just like jerk it on your own time and not have that be like a weird thing that you have to do? Come on, Ben, get it together. They're
nobody,
getting you out.
like, can anybody see him from the window?
That's what I'm wondering. Is I was like,
He's
how
all like
awkward
looking out
for
the
like the
window
gardener.
crying. Like,
He's like, there's so many roses out here. Why'd you do this to
That's
me,
true.
Constance? There's a dude jacking in the window every day.
like, I can't come here to work every day.
And
now.
Ben's like, I chose to make you see this. I can decide
You
if I
can't
want to be
unsee
seen
this.
or not.
I've
I
chosen.
wanted you to see.
You can't stop looking.
it's gonna make me choke.
Maybe that's why the girl's eyes are gone.
Yeah, she's like, I plucked him out because I was watching Ben jerk it in front of the window and cry every day. I
She's
got
like
sick of
5.
it.
That's a little disturbing.
That is pretty
Like, I don't want to
disturbing.
see this.
So Ben basically says, look, I took over my Tate sessions, but with Michael, because even though he's not my kid, my wife gave birth to him. He feels like my child, even though he's not. She had these 2 twins. He still feels like he's my kid. So I have to help him however I can. I'm going to have these sessions with him like I did with Tate. It helped with Tate.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, this could help with Michael. This I thought was interesting, though, because he's talking about how brilliant he is, and the example is him doing the Rubik's Cube. Yeah. But he doesn't solve it on all sides. He does a cross. Yeah. He intentionally puts a cross in each of it that I was like, okay. And because the way that it's set up, you can't tell if it's inverted or not. So I was like, all right, I see you. I see you. I see all the little references.
Because I had to look, and I was like, wait, how did he finish that? And then I was like looking at the image, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. And this is when, too, when Ben then says that Michael was the only light to come out of this because he's the only one still alive. Everything around him is dead. This is another reference to this light.
The light, yeah.
The lightness, the angel of light, this Lucifer image that then the whole lightness, darkness, and inevitably the fire that comes from the light, and how it's not a pure heavenly light, it's instead a destructive force, which he finds out when Michael is first going through all of Tate's stuff, and Tate is like, stop going through my shit.
That was
I was so here for the like dad and son moment of them. I'm like, are they ever gonna see each other?
Like you. Can't you tell? Look at my hair.
It's like teen mom.
It was like just like a little Justin Bieber haircut. Like, I just want to be like you, Dad. And he's
so
like,
both
no.
look like we're in the same boy band.
That's true. But I feel like it was also a little Connie Britton. Like, I love how her hair was always so good.
Oh my God, Connie Britton's hair. I'm like, get out of here. How are you so perfect? But Tate's response, not so cute.
Yeah.
Where he's like, you did not come from me. I could have never created something as evil and monstrous as you are.
He's just so heartbroken. He was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Coming from Tate.
This is when he says that then the darkness starts encroaching and being rejected from what he identified with as his then father made him lean to his actual father, which is just entity, evil incarnate.
Say, damn it, Tate, it's all your fault.
Yeah.
Blame Tate.
Satanic Tate. Say Tate.
It's like if you would have just loved him, he probably would have just, that evil kind of would have went away.
Yeah, but Tate's like a forever teenager where he's like, I'm not, like, come on. So then now his little demon baby who grew up overnight, which is weird.
I like how they addressed it, though.
Yeah, that they were like, he just woke up and he was like 10 years older.
Well, I mean, because we all knew, because remember he started growing rapidly in Vivian's stomach. So everybody was like, what? How is he like already? Like, she's like, no, I'm going on a trip. And he's like, no, like this baby's going to like come like any second now. Like, no, you're not. She's like, no, I'm like 4 months pregnant. Like, no, lady, like you're about to give birth. And then it's like, I think it flashed from when he was a toddler, right? Like after he killed the babysitter, so he had to be like what, like 2 or 3 maybe in that little rocking chair.
They said it was because they showed him also killing all the rabbits and everything, and as well. So it led up. I think he was probably
like
about
5
4,
or 6. Okay, like 4 or 5 or whatever, and then it's like 10 years later. So now he's like 15. Okay, yeah.
It said 3 years later in the show. It said on the bottom, it was like,
he's like 3. Okay.
Well, he was 3,
and then 3 years later,
10.
13.
But I think it was like a year, like, or 2 years later at this point. So I think he's like about 15.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Early teens.
So that would mean
he's learning how to drive the bus straight to hell, basically.
He needed to be 18 to create the.
It was probably his 18th birthday that they showed up.
Yeah, that they showed then.
It was just funny how he like killed the priest. She was like, yeah, Constance was like, I felt like he just needed an intervention, and then like she walks in and the priest is dead and he's all playing video games like, hi.
Yeah, just like this like nonchalant smile, like whatever, and then starts hacking up the poor black Dahlia. I'm like, can this woman get a break? Like, geez.
She just wants to be a star. Mina Safari.
You have to go through to be a star. And then of course he puts on the rubber man suit, just like Daddy, and kills poor Grace and Elizabeth. They had names. It was Grace and Elizabeth, so shout out to the poor nameless couple that moved in and then were immediately murdered. I was like, boxes aren't even unpacked.
Yeah.
Give these people a minute. Like, jeez. So on top of killing them, he then ignites their souls and makes them cease to exist. So he didn't just murder them. They cease to exist. This is a huge, huge deal. We have not seen anything to this level. This is terrifying. I mean, now even the dead are afraid of him. He is this awful, terrifying spirit.
Yeah, that's when like Ben gave up on him too. He was just like, hey, there's something
like,
going on with you, kid. Yeah,
I never should have tried.
You're a little different. You're not normal, kid.
Yeah, so this was intense. And then I do love, though, that we see this Vivian and Ben reconnection.
Yes,
We didn't actually
loved
see
it.
them split up because when we last saw them, he came back. They were, seen as a happy family. They were all together.
Right.
We've seen that now they've had a falling out because of Michael, which would make sense because Vivian wanted nothing to do with him. And then Ben helping him, obviously, would create a rift. But then after, he's like, no, you're right. Even though I had what I thought was a connection to this kid, he is not my child.
Right.
His actual child starts crying, and so then he goes to tend to the baby.
That's weird how they kept them separated. You know what I mean? Like Vivian was taking care of the other baby the whole entire time, but it's like Michael
Well,
and
because
they never had a connection.
Their reality doesn't, like, their sense of time, because
That's
they're
true.
dead, it's just so off
yeah.
that it's like, so yeah, it's just intense because she says that Michael isn't just a bad witch, like that you can get rid of. This is something intense. And when she quotes the biblical, the beast with 10 horns and 7 heads rising out of the sea, and all who dwell on the earth shall worship him.
How satanic is that?
God, I'm like, can you cut to commercial on a more intense line? Like, damn, Sarah, love it.
Intense.
So then we start seeing all of these things about Michael. We know that he's not natural. We start ticking off all of the omens that are letting us know that he is basically the Antichrist, is that the murder of crows encircle the house. It starts getting sweltering hot inside.
But he still sleeps with the fan.
He still sleeps with a fan. It's like, okay.
He's like, I'm hot.
Yeah, I'm
It's
like,
hot in
you're
here."
doing it, devil. We're all hot because of you. We all had to go to Sam's Club and buy like 15 fans. There's too many. Sam's Club reference from my East Coasters.
They don't have Sam's Club over here?
Yeah, they do.
They're very spaced
Okay.
out. Very
I'm like,
few.
well, I'm from San
reigns
Diego.
supreme. I'm all about
I love Costco, but I'm like, I love Sam's
Sam's
Club
Club.
too. Because I'm like, I'm from San Diego, so we have a bunch of Sam Clubs out there, yeah.
So
Shout out
then,
San Diego, yeah.
so then they came. Dun dun dun. We finally see Mead's backstory.
Oh, this
And
is during Black Mass.
yeah, so this is the start of Black Mass when Anton LaVey shows up with
Shout out.
the Black
he-
Pope himself of the Church of Satan. We now
was so
find out
into
too that Mead is a cardinal of the Church
Yeah.
of Satan, which it's like, okay, it makes sense. She'd be pretty high ranking since
Yeah.
she's like, before we have our cereal, pray to Satan.
After they all faked their death to be there.
Yeah.
Well,
Intense.
Anton LaVey, I was like, he's dead. What is this? Are they ghosts? And I start thinking, and then when he started to say, okay, well, I faked my death, I'm like, oh, it's such a Hollywood thing, though,
They
to
throw
bring him in.
one line in there to save it. And I'm like, okay, that's all we need,
All right,
though.
fine. But really quick, it seemed like they were the 3 wise men, just like
Didn't they? Yeah.
three wise men,
Like
and then
in
they
Jesus and stuff, yeah.
followed the star.
Yes, they
Yeah.
followed the dark star. Yeah,
Ooh,
that
good
came
reference,
out.
Jen.
Yes, and then
Bible stuff.
they even have the and the sun became black as sackcloth with hair, and the whole moon became as blood. Blood moon, shout out.
Yeah,
Roanoke.
The writings.
The stars fell from the heaven to the earth, for the great day of wrath is come. Dun dun dun. So yeah, they follow the dark star from the west. They come to this house that they flat out say is built on a portal to hell, which
Yeah.
we all kind of assumed.
Yeah, of course.
It's like anybody who's seen Buffy is very familiar with hellmouths. So
Buffy.
it's like, all right, they have their own little mini Sunnydale going on in Murder House. Thanks, Montgomery. She picked a great spot. And so all of these lost souls create this environment that Vivian is kind of playing off. She's like, this just kind of felt like, a pathetic circus until I saw what
She's like, I
actually
just
happened.
thought it was a joke. Like,
Yeah, she's like, it just seemed like a bunch of like, oh, we're devil worshippers.
Little
It's
hocus
like, all
pocus.
right, I'm actually dead. So it's like, do whatever you gotta do, weirdos.
just get him out of here.
Just like, we're not fans of Michael, so if he's playing with you, at least he's not bothering us. I'm just waiting for my husband to get done jerking it in the window, and then we're going to talk about baby stuff. So Mead ends up kidnapping this girl who was waiting for the bus. I also love all of the music choices in here. Don't Fear the Reaper playing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yes! If you get in a car and you hear Don't Fear the Reaper, it's like, just get out of that car. Just don't even.
She just knew it was a vibe because the cross was upside down.
The upside down cross, yeah, where
so
she's
it was
like,
I'd
I'd rather walk.
I'd rather walk. There's no time for that, girl. Like,
Yeah.
you already did. Like, you shouldn't have gotten in a car. Like,
Dummy.
Beautiful night for murder.
It's a lovely night.
Lovely
isn't it?
night.
For
She's
what?
like, for what?
Murder.
Oh, are you serious? Like, what type of murder are you talking about? I'm like, oh, can I join? They're like, yeah, you're gonna join in many ways.
Oh my God, yeah. It's like murder's on the table, literally. It's you.
But
And another.
Hey! So yeah,
That
that's
sacrifice was
horrific.
brutal.
Oh my God, it was horrific.
Right?
Literally cut open her stomach and pull out her heart, which Michael then eats. We've seen this on the Blood Moon too.
Right.
Flashback to Roanoke,
Yeah.
where we have what I call Gaga Monster, because the indescript monster that lives in the woods
And
that
yes.
is then later played by Lady Gaga.
Yeah, we know she played her. Everyone yeah, she's
that
the
she
actress.
wasn't the one
Yeah.
who played the actual creature. She was the one hanging out with Kathy Bates's.
Yeah, she's the
But-
actress.
little
Still,
butcher,
yeah.
the butcher.
The butcher.
glam one.
But I'm still gonna call her Gaga Monster because it sounds good.
I agree.
And
Good name for it.
Gaga's fans are little monsters, so fight me. So he eats this heart, and we see the most awesome shot of this Lucifer winged devil beast shadow come up behind him.
I was creeped out. I was like, oh my God. Like, what's going on?
Talk about a poster shot. I'm like, there are so many scenes in here that could literally just be an entire poster.
It was so aesthetic and just like, Sarah,
Look,
giving it.
knowing film and like special effects and stuff by taking classes in college, I was like, how'd they get that image to kind of do that? Like, what in the projector, like what
That's what
projector
I'm wondering
did
is
you
I'm
guys
like, I
have?
feel like it was rear projection.
Yeah.
I think it was probably a rear projection thing. It could have been CGI, but it felt more
I was like,
practical
ooh,
effects
how'd they
'cause it
do
looked
that?
really
Like-
good. Yeah, I was super
I'm
into
all
it.
interested.
And then just like the Carl Orff's like, oh, Fortuna playing, and you're like,
All satanic, yeah.
what
That
other
was
song
like the
did you
moment.
use?
That was like the moment. Like, hey, if you guys don't know by now, he's clearly like the devil. Like,
yeah, especially when he's like,
you didn't
Father, for I am with you
Yeah.
now. And it's like, oh, yeah, his dad definitely the
Is the
devil.
we
If
know
you
it's not
weren't
Tatum anymore. Yeah.
there's his silhouette behind him being like, what up, I'm the devil.
He's like, hey, welcome home, son.
yeah. And then it starts hailing. Everyone's like, what the hell?
I'm another. Give it to her.
Vivian is like, all right, I'm gonna kill these mofos. We can't do it. We gotta, you know, get rid of these guys. So she goes to try to kill them, and Michael is awake and instead goes to light her soul on fire.
Right.
Tate saves her, which go Team Tate.
Good old baby daddy.
But I like that he didn't even acknowledge her as his mother.
Yeah.
Never.
It's she was just the host.
No,
Yeah.
like 100%, because he was just like, that was just the entity to get her out. Now, this is when Behold does his whole like, look, we pushed for a leader. I'm not going to stop you from going and telling everybody what happened, because we were the ones who pushed, you know, like I pushed for a leader. If we had known that this was a situation, we would not have done this. Now that we know that he clearly is not a leader, we need to do something about it. 100% reference to current events, I feel, but you know, whatever. After Colt, I'm like, okay, y'all are trying to sugarcoat a little bit, but we all see it. So then Violet is crying. Madison decides to intervene and try to set these guys up, and shows that basically all of the evil that was in Tate has left with his father. Tate was just the host, basically making all of us who love Tate feel better about loving a mass murderer and not feel so
We're
gross
like, oh,
about
Tate.
it.
Yet again.
Yeah.
Yet again.
So I was like, thank you guys. Thank you for that, because I needed that as well. And then Spirits of the Material World takes us out by the police while we're finding out that Behold says Madison is basically just a big old softie. So
She's
we're like,
definitely a
okay.
softie.
What do you guys think? I know we got to kind of wrap up here, but before we get out, just a quick predictions
Okay.
for next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Who's going first?
I'm excited. I'll start.
You're going
Like,
first?
I'm excited to see, because it's like, it's still like we're bringing everybody together to kind of figure out like how the hell we're gonna take Michael down. And it's like now we're pulling different. Like we got the voodoo guy coming back. I'm like, now we're finding Dinah. Yeah, I'm like Papa. So I'm
Maybe
like, now
Nan
we see
comes
Dinah.
back.
We're just gonna see Dinah and her little voodoo thing. Oh, I'm kind of wishing Angela Bassett will come back, but. We'll see, but I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna
I feel
see.
about that.
I'm actually just super excited to see how they're gonna, like, what their plan is gonna be to take down Michael.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
It's probably the beginning of the plan, but
The blueprint.
the beginning of the end.
the blueprint. Since we only have 3 episodes left, right? Or 4?
We have 4.
4? Yeah, it's gonna start now. But with everything, I feel like maybe they will talk about the voodoo ladies, how they went down, because Madison did say it's backwards doing voodoo. So I don't know. And then clearly we see voodoo coming in, but I want some explanation on why Angela's not involved, what's happening here, what happened, so that hopefully they keep Murder House around for not just this episode. I want it to, like, now it's a part of this, so let's keep going back and forth. There's 2 different sets for this season, because I just don't want to go back to the bunker.
I know that we probably, I mean, they have to tie in the bunker at some point.
Right, but at least have others. At least have other things coming in.
Well, to be honest, I think they're going to go back to the bunker, because I think in the next episode, it's like the Warlocks are back in. So it's like, you know what I mean? They're going to do the flash.
Well, it's like, they could potentially flash forward, but I mean, the Warlocks were still involved even when Michael was young. So it could be a flash forward. I'm thinking they're probably going to hold it, because I'm still not convinced that all of those things really happened. I think that was this is what could happen. Like we talked about last week's kind of predictions, that it seems like it was like a Cordelia Vision type deal of like a potential future that may or may not happen, and it's up to these women to stop the apocalypse and to stop Boy Supreme. No.
Your theory.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically it.
That's it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like, I have some more, but I know we got to kind of get moving on here.
Okay.
We do have some news and gossip for you guys this week, though.
Real quick.
TV news.
A little AfterBuzz TV exclusive for you guys. Haven't had that button in a minute. AfterBuzz TV exclusive. So one of my dear friends, Brittany.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
Look at that!
Whose gorgeous head is
one
that?
of my good friends, Brittany Dawn. She is absolutely phenomenal. One of my very first friends here in Los Angeles. Shout out to her, because she is also works with Sarah Paulson. She is her assistant here and has taken a photo. This I absolutely love. This is a behind the scenes look.
So cool.
That she herself took of Sarah Paulson in character as Billie Dean. And she is directing in this scene as her actual character.
I love her caption.
Yes, her caption is just the inimitable force that is Miss Sarah Paulson, directing her first episode while in character as Billie Dean, and cross-boarding 3 episodes where she plays 3 different characters. So, the usual. When Boss Lady is the literal embodiment of hashtag get you a girl who can do both. What is prep when you are shooting 16 hours a day? So get it. You can also follow her at btump. So shout out Brittany, you're awesome, and shout out to Sarah Paulson for being amazing.
The ultimate girl boss.
The ultimate girl boss. And to Ryan Murphy for giving us this amazing show. Thank you to all of you guys, especially, I know we kind of talked about this a little bit. Jason Blum had some interesting words today that we would like to just touch on real quick. He said the reason that he doesn't hire very many female directors for horror films is because, quote, there aren't enough women who are interested in directing horror to hire them.
And he said that today.
Where are you looking at?
Just on that note, I would like to say that the most anticipated episode of American Horror Story ever was directed by Sarah Paulson. So, again,
in your face.
Thank you, Sarah, for just letting your work speak volumes. So just, if anybody wants to maybe link this episode to Jason Blum, maybe say, watch this episode of American Horror Story and see how female directors do it. Get it, Sarah.
And wait, Elena, I'm pretty sure you won an award.
Years ago,
it doesn't matter, you won the award.
My first directing award was for a horror movie, so...
Yeah, shout out to Elena Jordan.
Women can do it.
And I wrote it, too, so wanted it to be horror, loved it, wasn't just assigned, I picked that beast. Right?
That 10-horn beast.
That 10-horn, 7-headed
I'm like,
beast.
yes, and then before we get out of here, let's just shout out a few people that have actually been in our chat this whole time. Shout out to Scrappy's mom. Shout out to Billie Jean Girl 24, Marley Stark, Calvin Aragon, we said that earlier, David Collins, Clarissa,
Everyone's excited for
Yeah,
Papa.
I'm like, yes.
I want
Chris
Nan to
and
come back.
Andrew.
I do have to have one more shout out too. We've been saying how much we love all of your theories, and we like to highlight at least one fan theory. We got a couple earlier in the chat too. But make sure that you guys are sending us your comments, tweeting us. We love
Definitely.
hearing from you. Shout out to at Mr. Jordan Byrne, who's also an amazing voiceover artist too. So thank you for watching the show. This is his theory. Is Myrtle a ghost? Because she doesn't have any direct conversations with anyone except for Cordelia. Nobody seems to reference her or talk to her by name. Nobody else mentions Myrtle's name at all except
good
for Cordelia.
theory.
I did not catch that at all.
I didn't either until now.
Jordan, shout out to you because I think you're right.
Yeah.
100% I'm on board with that theory. I definitely think
She
you're right.
has to be.
She has to be. I have to see more Myrtle because now I have to know.
Like, she got burned.
She was burned at
It's
the stake, so I was like, how was
how
she brought back? I don't know.
Maybe Billy
Cordelia.
Dean will come in and be
brought
like,
her back.
Myrtle.
And then Cordelia's like, you look very familiar. That's so weird.
Twinsies. Twinning.
I love it. So, any last things before we get out of here?
I think that's it. I'm
just
super excited
love
for
it.
next week. I know.
Just can't wait until next week. And I can't wait to hear what all of you guys have to say about what you think is going to happen. So, in the meantime, where can everybody keep up with you guys?
Yes, you guys can follow me on Instagram at @the_Kayla Rene'e.
Tweet us at Jennifer Leone TV. Talk to us. Give us a 5-star rating and thumbs up. Tell us all your theories.
And I'm Elena Jordan. You can find me on Twitter at Elena Jordan because I'm super original. And on Instagram at that Elena Jordan girl. You can find us all here at AfterBuzz TV. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.